Hi, this is Aaron Cook coming from Physical Therapy and Balance Center in Menor, Ohio. I'm here today with episode 3 of our Help Yourself Learning series. What we're doing today is we're going to be talking about neck pain and headaches. In particular, people who have neck pain and headaches, if you're sitting in an office all day, if you're on your phone all day. Nowadays, most of us are working from home or working on the computer in some form or another. And if you find at the end of the day that you're constantly suffering from headaches, or just stiffness in the neck, and even some numbness and tingling down the arms, this is going to be a helpful video for you. So to start, I want to start with the tingling down your arms. That's something that can be a little scary to people at first. For a lot of physical therapists, that's something we're trained to manage. A lot of times that doesn't require surgery. A lot of times it can be handled conservatively. But if you have that numbness and tingling, I would probably start going to your doctor or going to a local physical therapist just for a little bit more finesse, a little bit more hands-on. That would be something that if you're doing these videos and you're getting any of that numbness and tingling, I would definitely advise to stop and consult a qualified medical professional. But for the rest of you, you may notice that neck pain tends to start in that kind of the base of your neck, and then for some people it'll work its way down into one of your shoulders, or work its way up into the back of your skull and can cause a headache. So we got a couple of simple exercises we're going to give for you guys today. The first exercise that I want to talk about is just learning how to correct posture. So we're very bad in our society these days with good posture. You know, in the past that was something that we used to emphasize, and now that we've become more sedentary, we've lost that instinct for posture, and it's definitely showing in the amount of people that have neck pain and neck surgeries every year. So first thing you do is you just want to be aware of your posture. You're not going to fix a problem unless you're aware of it. So what I always tell people to do is, especially when you're at work, take a little sticky note, put it down right by the clock of your computer, because you know if we're at work, you're always looking at that clock to see what time it is, see how much longer you got to be there. Put a little note down by that clock that just says posture or good posture. Just to give you that reminder, just something to look at every day to remind you to sit in that good upright posture. Now you may notice for a physical therapist, I have atrocious posture. It's something I've worked on in my life, and I'm not always as good at it as I could be, which is part of the reason I wanted to do this video. So I wanted to show you what that bad posture looks like and ways to correct it. So right now I'm sitting in terrible posture. Oftentimes I find I tend to be a little fidgety. I cross my feet. I'm moving forward, I'm leaning forward, I'm on the computer, I'm this way, my elbows aren't on the armrest, my back's not on the back of the chair. Nothing is as it should be. So the first thing we want to do here is we want to try and correct that. So I like the phrase as above, so below. So I always start just getting my feet set. You'd be amazed at how much just that little distinction of getting both feet flat on the floor tends to help everything above. Next thing you want to do is you want to tend to be more towards the back of your chair, and I would try and get your back close to contact with the back of the chair itself. It's not always easy to do, and you're going to lose that as you're engaged in whatever you're doing on the computer. But try and make an effort to keep some contact there between your back and the back of the chair. Next thing you want to do is, right now I have very forward head posture. You want to try and come out of that and be as upright as you can. It's going to seem weird. Most of us are adapted to being forward all day. That sitting up straight actually seems weird. So it takes a lot of repetition and a lot of just muscle memory to get that down. So if you can just spend more of your day up in this position as opposed to this position, over time that's going to really help decrease that pain that comes from the base of the neck up into the head. Again, a lot of these can present as headaches. So we're going to start with just the postural correction. I keep doing my air keyboard here. This just feels natural to me. So the next thing you want to do is we want to talk about how to strengthen your shoulder blades or your scapula. So we find that one of the first things we do for people who have neck pain related to poor posture, we actually strengthen the shoulder blades, believe it or not. That's because those shoulder blade muscles are so important for holding your neck up. You got to have that good, strong base to keep that spine in good alignment, good posture. So there's one simple exercise that would be just a general row. You can do these with weights. You know, if you have access to the gym, you can do these with a resistance band. That's all well and good. What I usually do is I like to have people start without anything, no resistance. Now, I have a bad habit of activating a muscle called my upper trapezius here when I do these. And that's a bad habit that I've learned over the years, is I tend to shrug my shoulders and try and just throw everything up. Oftentimes I tend to put too much weight when I'm doing these exercises. I'm a guy, I tend to want to just throw 50 pounds on the machine and see what happens. Really, we want to go more for the technique and the control. You want to try and pinch those shoulder blades together without shrugging your shoulders. And that's a hard thing to do. A lot of times it takes our clients, 3, 4, 5 visits to really get that mechanic down of just coming just backwards without shrugging the shoulders. So that's two things. We've got the postural correction. We've got our scapular retraction. I'm gonna come over to the mat table here. Last one you can do laying down either on the floor or in bed. And here it's very particular where you want a pillow. I like doing these with a pillow. You can do them with a towel roll, but a pillow tends to work best. So what you don't want is you don't want your head being thrown up by the pillow, and you don't want the pillow all the way back that it's not doing anything. What you want is just the very top of your head on the pillow, so where you can still feel the base of your neck here on the floor, on the bed, whatever you're doing at home. So what you want to do, I always call these sit-ups for the head is the simplest way to think about it. We would call this a chin tuck or a chin nod or a deep cervical flexor. You'll hear a couple different terms used. But what you're going to do is literally just a sit-up with just your head. But what you're trying to do is you're trying to take your head and tilt forward. So I'm going to try a few of these. Now when you're doing this exercise right, it's not going to feel like much of anything. You're not going to get that strain that you would normally feel when you're doing an exercise, but it can get challenging after a few repetitions. You may notice a little discomfort in the front of your neck if these front neck muscles are a little tight. That's perfectly normal. Try a few. If you get really advanced, normally I wouldn't start somebody here, but as somebody gets more advanced, you can try throwing a little lift, just trying to come off that pillow just a little bit. And if you get really good, you can go into static holds where you're lifting and you're trying to hold that tuck with that head off the pillow. And that's when you'll start really feeling the burn here. These are, like I said, these are like sit-ups for the neck. If you do enough of them, you're gonna really feel it. Now, I've never met anybody with a six-pack on their neck, but I've met a lot of people that have really good posture, and I think a lot of those things go hand in hand.